What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Gunther Show. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all of your support this far. It means a lot. Well, I'm home today because I was practically raised here. Anybody that knows me, you can't talk about me without talking about him. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Gunn. What's going on, OG?
Hey, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. Last year, you guys had one of the best runs in your career.
Yeah.
That had to be exciting. Just can you take me back through just a little bit of it?
So to be honest with you, I didn't think this team would be the team that would get us down to the promised land. I mean, you know, we had 3 freshmen playing a lot of varsity minutes, 2 starting, 1 coming off the bench playing major minutes, and we didn't think we thought it would be a couple years because first of all, when you have 3 freshmen that are talented and good enough to play, the issue becomes, are the upperclassmen going to be willing to accept those guys into your circle, into your culture, and allow them to be who they are? Well, I will say that Jaden and Gino accepted those guys in the summer, saw how talented they were, and made them feel a part of it right out the gate, and let the other guys know on the team that in order for us to be successful, we got to play these 3 guys.
During the course of that season, we all know there's highs and there's lows, but you guys had a lot more highs than you had lows, and we know that all stems from the foundation that's laid in practice.
Right.
What was it about that group last year that made coming into the gym, putting in the work every day fun?
So sometimes you get teams that want to fight against playing hard and being coachable. Last year's team, they came in the gym every day from starting in the summer. So I'm talking about starting in April, May, and then June. That's when it really started to click. And June is basically your summer season, just like your regular season. We had a great, successful summer season. With that being said, so then come around to the regular season, those guys knew we had a chance to be really good, and they were gritty all day, every day. And then, you know, you start to win some games and you start to see that hard work pays off, starts to communicate to success, and then they really start to buy in, and then they take it to another level, which allowed us to do a lot of great things in the regular season. The question mark is always the tournament, because I thought the team the year before, when Terrence and Vinny were seniors, I thought that was the team that was going to make a run. I really did, but we didn't get out of the district, didn't play well in the district final, and this was a shocker. But with that being said, it was one of the greatest feelings that, you know, as far as a coach that you could have. So
I'm gonna tell 2 quick, interesting stories. Mind you, like I said earlier, I was here pretty much my entire life as a kid, so I saw so much. First interesting fact, I think it was my senior year, that summer league, I think we might have lost about 5 or 6 games total. And I asked somebody last year what was their summer league record, and it was identical to ours. And I was like, wow. Scary, but that's kind of cool.
Right there. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this. You know, I remember as a kid coming up here, seeing all of the guys put the work in, and seeing all the great things that come along with that. But with that, there comes a little bit of favoritism. And people think that, well, his son is going to play for him, he's going to get all the shine, etc. But speaking from somebody that was here, I can tell you right now, you got to work for it. There's no other way to put it.
And you know what? Here's the players who get favoritism here. Favoritism are the guys who work hard, guys who get in the gym early, guys who come to put the hard hat on every day. Those are the guys who get favoritism. So, you know, a lot of people say sometimes, you know, you're favoring him. Yeah, you know what? If it's a guy who works hard, who dives on the floor, who plays defense, he's going to get favoritism. According to the guy who just wants to come in and not work hard, who's a great scorer, who's not a great team player, he's not going to get any favoritism. So when people say, do people get favoritism? They do, but it's the players who work hard, or the players who get favoritism. Favoritism then translates to minutes on the floor, which translates to you having a successful program.
Success here, we know it comes through winning. There's no other way to put it. You can have all the hard days of practice, etc., but once you start winning, it does make it more worth it. Last year was one of your best years, and I want to say was the previous year you had a new record as the most winningest coach here. You know, can you take me back through any of that? Because clearly it wasn't easy. It was never easy, but here we are.
There's been so many highs and lows. There's been times I've wanted to walk away. It's like, is this where I'm meant to be? But, I was thinking about this earlier today. There's always been a kid that I had to stay for. I felt like that I had to be here to get him through those 4 years. And I'll say this on the record. Part of that is I really think it's part of God's plan to get me to this point here. If you'd have told me I'd still be here 22 years later, I'd laugh at you when I first took the job. I thought I'd be 5 to 7 years, couple state championships and out. And here I am 22 years later, still grinding. But sometimes when you have early success, you don't appreciate it as much. So it took me 21 years to get out of the regional to the state. And if you watch me and Jill hug after that game, it was like one of the biggest emotional points of my life, because I had been grinding and grinding and grinding, and I saw success, then I dipped down, I'd see success and dip down. And then to actually get to that high point of success, man, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And with that being said, I got to do it with my son. So, he's talented, he works hard, he takes a lot of heat. I won't let him get a lot of the credit. Because I'm his dad, I'm the head coach, and people will think that's favoritism. And so sometimes I back off of some of the awards he'll get, some of this talking about success he should get, and me and him have had that conversation. I can't allow jealousy to infiltrate the program, because if jealousy infiltrates the program, that will kill your success. So, he will get his reward on the drive home from me. We don't need to see it in the paper. We don't need to see it all in the news, even though they do it sometimes. But you know what? His success will pay off in 4 years when he gets a scholarship to go play basketball somewhere.
And that's got to be a great feeling. And I'll go ahead and put myself out there. It's no secret that from 2009 to 2013, another Gunther played here.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He was actually pretty good.
He's pretty good.
But the biggest problem is our relationship. We just, for whatever reason.
It's tough.
It was challenging. And I'll never forget it. There were times when you and I didn't speak. And we didn't speak.
It's funny you said I didn't speak to Jay last week. Because he talked back to me, and it's like, dude, it's
but
like
the only reason I'm putting that out there is because people think that in order to always have success, that it's always going to be a kumbaya moment. And I remember there were times where, just being real, layup lines coming in, high fives, we didn't high five each other. But when it was time to play, Chris, all right, come on, let's work.
It's a respect thing. So, and that's just part of it. And it's a way for me to push people's buttons too, to see how you're built. Because what are you going to do when you graduate from school and your boss is on you and he's irritated and he ain't got nothing to say to you because you ain't do your job? Most people are going to cry and quit and go get a new job. For instance, they've tried to do it to you, and you took it
several times.
You take it on the chin, and you're like, "What you got next for me?"
There were times where I was getting ready to go on the air, and things happen behind the scenes. They come up to me, it was like, "Chris, I gotta be honest, man, you just won't break." All I could think was, I'm like, "That dang uncle I got that I played for." I'm like, "There's a method to the madness."
Yes, and see, that's the thing here. Like, everybody thinks we're just here to create basketball players. We're here to create God-fearing, strong young men. So after they leave here, there's a difference in little boys and men. And some guys leave here and they boys and they get out in that world and they can't handle the pressure and the pain out there. But my guys that play for me, they can get out there and they can handle it, and they're usually successful in life.
I'll share something with you. I don't think I got a chance to tell you. I was working a game last year for the Charge, and I want to say you guys were playing against Cardinal Mooney. And Jay was doing this thing. A friend of mine was at the game. I was coming home. He called me up. "Yo, Chris, I just checked your little cousin out. Dude, that cat can play." And then he throws, I could tell y'all related because all y'all Gunthers can shoot. When I tell you, I almost cried laughing on the phone because I'm like, well, he does have a pretty good, like points. So here we are. Another season is right around the corner. And one of the things I know for a fact, November hits, practices get more intense. The margin of error gets smaller because we know what's at stake. And there are certain things that even as a coach, you have to do. How are you gonna make sure that you stay prepared to keep this train moving? Because we know repeating is not easy.
No, it's not easy. And it's gonna be difficult for us to get back down. But with that being said, with the talent we have coming back, we have 6 returning guys that played for us last year. So with that being said, I am brutally honest, brutally tough about how difficult of a task it's going to be for us to get back there. But if you buy into what we do and how we play, we have an opportunity to get back there. But with that being said, we have to come with the hard hats on every day. We have to come be intense. We got to be nasty. We got to be gritty. I'm gonna get you one of my new shirts. It says gritty, and it defines about what Ursuline basketball is, and you'll understand that. But it's a grind, and it's a grind. When you find a group of guys who are willing to grind and understand what the purpose of the program is, then you always have a shot. And I feel like, if we can continue to focus, continue to work hard, our kids buy in, we'll have a great opportunity to get back.
Along with the 6 guys that are returning, we know you lose guys to graduation,
right?
But then it's also the next man up.
Yep.
And I think one of the coolest parts about being a part of a program that has adopted that mindset, you get to really test you out. Is there anybody right now that's kind of sticking out to you like, okay, this kid might be able to help us out in the long run?
Besides the 6 guys, Alex Simon has been a little impressive for us, who played all JV last year. So we know Jay's back, we know Noah's back, we know Jace is back, we know Nick is back, we know D. Will is back, we have Jared Clues back. Those are the core guys. But then you have a couple guys that all of a sudden from the summer till now, they're like, and we're all looking. Eddie Barnes has a great possibility. Alex Simon, like I said. Then from what we understand, Devontae Taylor, who's coming out from football, who's a Power 5 receiver. We feel like he's going to be able to give us some really, really good minutes. Deshaun Will leading the area in interceptions. He's
thing to watch.
He's going to be our starting point guard. There's no question. There ain't nobody taking him. He's just a grown man. He's tough. He's gritty. Great kid. Has really bought into what we do. So, with that being said, we got some guys that are returning. They're going to do some things for us. Also, we don't know who's coming out from football that could possibly be effective. You always have that guy that comes out. That you never expected to be, that guy that came in and gave you success. So, we're excited about that.
Being here for as long as I remember as a kid, seeing all the guys come out from football.
Yep.
Like, you had Dom Cole, you had Biggs, and Dale Peterman, Levance.
Right.
Then in my group, you had Khalid Pierce, who was all-state performer. But then he comes over here, he's leading us in rebounds
every year. Just a grown man every night, every day. Just intense, tough. And you need guys like that.
100%.
You need guys that are mean and gritty and nasty on football. You need a couple of those guys to come in here and help you get to that next level, especially when you're playing some guys with some size and some toughness. So, it's always a plus for us to pull in a couple football guys, and we always welcome them. We know they're going to be probably a couple weeks after the season because I anticipate they're going to win state. So
I don't see anybody beating them.
I don't see anybody beating them either.
Just being 100% true. On a personal note, when you first got here, I believe you were one of the very few black coaches in this area. Years later, that's not necessarily the case anymore, but you're the longest tenured one.
Yes.
How proud of an accomplishment is that for you?
I just remember when I was coming for the interview, and this is how the enemy works, to try and get you not to come to where your success is supposed to be. I was getting gas and I was all dressed up, and this guy, I'm not going to mention his name, was a famous boxing referee, and everybody will know once I say that. And I was pumping gas. He's like, Keith, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to an interview at Ursuline. And he goes, you know what? He goes, those Catholic. He goes, they're not going to hire a black coach. And fortunately, a guy named Mr. Bond, Mrs. Fleming, those guys brought me in, met me, and they have been behind me, for my first 10, 12 years, supported me all the way. Now Mr. Sam, has had my back all the way through. Father Murphy, to be honest with me, to be at a place for 22 years, it's just been unbelievable. And like you said, to be one of the first black coaches, head coaches in the area, and still be at the same place where you got your first head coaching job, that's a big task. And hats off to them, because like I said, there's been some highs, there's been some lows where they could have been like, maybe it's time to move on, but they've stuck with me all the way through, and we've had a lot of success, and graduated a lot of good kids and created a lot of good men out here in society. So.
I'm old enough to remember when you first got the job because you were at Newton Falls.
Right.
I'm old enough to remember when Coach Palermo was hitting threes, blowing kisses to everybody.
We were just talking about that.
I'm old enough to remember Lance Randall hitting the game winner against Mooney.
Yeah.
But I'm also old enough to remember that first championship.
Right.
First district one.
Man.
And now you're like, man, now you've gotten so many of them.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm grateful for it, but I'm always hungry for
Always
more.
hungry for more, because we go through spells. There was a time we won 4 in a row, then we went 4 years without winning one.
Yeah, it
And
was.
so you go through your periods where you have success. Like I said, your highs and your lows. So I never take it for granted, because the one we got last year, there was a little bit of a spell where we didn't have one. So to get back to the regional level, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world when you're coaching. But to get to state, it was a whole nother level. Just the preparation, the excitement, not just for Ursuline. There was a buzz around the Mahoney Valley about us getting down.
100%.
How many people I got phone calls from, coaches, just so many people that I had connections with through over the past 22 years, former players calling. So that was a great feeling to see people still supporting you and understanding the grind that you've done for the last 21 years, and for them to say, all right, man, you finally got it done. But I will say this. 22 years in, I'm not satisfied by any means. So until we cut down those nets in Dayton, I won't be satisfied. And the game plan is to get one in the next 3 years.
I was just talking to a player outside of here. I'm going to go ahead and say, I was talking to Jay for a hot second.
Yeah.
And a teammate of his, I guess a teacher, beat him in some kind of shooting game.
Yeah.
And I guess the teacher was like, I think I can beat Jalen. And
Right.
I'm guessing. I was like, you probably had a real straight face once you heard that. Jalen was like, yeah. And all I could tell him was, it's in your bloodline, buddy. Because I went through the same thing.
That's exactly it, man. We're built different. You know it, and I know it. We come from a family of tough individuals, of successful individuals, but we don't take nothing off nobody, and that's just in our blood. That's the way we were raised. And we'll love you, we'll hug you, but there's a line that you can't cross with us, and that's just part of the Gunther mentality.
Just kind of how it goes. So before we jet out of here,
yes.
If anybody wanted to maybe donate some meals to the team, or maybe connect, how can they do that?
They can get in contact with me. Email me at defensefirst@hotmail.com. That's my email, because of course defense is my number one thing, and we would love to have support. It's tough feeding 24 to 30 guys, 3 or 4 nights a week, but we have people who come in, they support us, they bring us drinks, they bring us water. So anyway, anybody would love to support us, please reach out by my email, and thanks for chopping it up with me.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Until next time, give me
Yes,
some love,
sir.
baby.
Yes, sir.